Society Fischerottel started out as something other than what it is now. It started as a benevolent organization. All ethnic groups that came to America pretty much did this. They kind of pooled their funds. They created organizations where they paid in dues, and it was basically a burial society. Or if somebody got really sick, or if somebody desperately needed a loan, they could take the money and pay it back over time. But in our era, I mean, that kind of era passed, the Depression passed, the tough years of immigration, et cetera. So probably around the 40s and the 50s, it started to become a different kind of organization, a cultural maintenance organization, a way of maintaining the community. They would have annual dances, as I'm sure you know, at the Biltmore Hotel in Providence, at the Grand Hyatt in New York. It was just an amazing thing, and it was the social event in our community every year, kind of thing. In recent years, as the community has dispersed and everybody's become more mobile, we've become kind of just a core group, and our presence is mainly online. Our newsletters, things like that are more the products the way that we reach out to our people all across the country and across the world to keep the community together. Again, that is the one thing that continues, that's right from the beginning, which is a gathering point for our community, okay? But the way we've done that over the decades has changed a lot. It's the name of a tribe in Albania, that comes from Albania. The Greeks call us Arvanito Vlachi, which means Albanian Vlachs. But, and I don't know exactly where the word comes from. There's been a lot of theories, nationalistic kind of theories, that it comes from the great Battle of Pharsalava that Pompey won and all that, or in which Pompey fought. It's not there. There's a town in Greece named Pharsala, but the Fischerotts are from up north, so I really don't know. There's a town called Frashar also in Albania. It's not clear. There's no historical record. Whatever it is, it means it does have a meaning. However obscure the origins may be, the meaning is the people who speak this particular dialect, who have this kind of intermarriage, these kinds of intermarriage relations. There's a distinct way that they speak, as you probably know. They don't pronounce their R's very well. It's a very guttural French kind of R, et cetera, et cetera. So there are various distinguishing marks. Well, we don't really have that many opportunities nowadays as our language and as our identity becomes assimilated and slowly but surely, I'd have to say, regretfully, becomes absorbed into other societies, because there is no one locus that teaches the language, that there's no way to regenerate, basically. So the society at this stage of the game is really, we're not going to prevent, our people from disappearing. We're just going to provide a focal point and try to call attention to us, and to try to kind of provide resources. There are scholars who like to study who really want access to our historical records as an ethnic society, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the waters we're trying to swim right now. I studied European history, and I specialized in Byzantine and modern Greek studies, so I kind of have some sense of this that is not commonly taught. It is, to the best of anyone's knowledge, and this is now we're talking about Western academics, right? Because in the Balkans, if you're an Albanian historian, you'll say that the Vlachs are Albanian. If you are a Romanian, you'll say they're always Romanian. The Greeks say they're always Greeks, etc. But Western scholars who have no axe to grind say, and it seems so natural, right? I mean, in Spain, you have a Romance language that was influenced by the native Iberians. In France, you have a Romance language that's Gallic, a combination of the Gallic influence on the Latin language. So in Eastern, we're right across the Adriatic from Italy, It's not that far away. One of the first areas that was conquered by Rome going eastward was Epirus, Macedonia, etc. So to the best of anyone's knowledge, we are the product. The Romans encountered barbarian tribes, what they called barbarian tribes, which was, barbarian meant they didn't speak Greek or Latin. That's really all it meant. They spoke a language that sounded to the Romans like bar, bar, bar. They didn't get it. So the barbarian tribes, the Romans conquered that area, and they gave them social mobility that they never had before. They built roads, they created an economy of trade and things like that just didn't exist in those areas before. And they gave them mobility mainly through the army. So to the best of anyone's knowledge in the West, now impartial scholars, we are the combination of the Romans who went over there and conquered, and the garrisons who were there and stationed there, the military garrisons who were stationed there, and the natives who intermarried and were assimilated to the Roman language. Now, who were those natives? They were everything: Illyrians, Thracians, Greeks, Macedonians. Not too many Greeks, because Greeks had their own culture and language, but Macedonians, people like that. So whatever barbarian tribes were in that region, but they became assimilated, and they actually played a huge role later in the Roman Empire. There were emperors, Constantine, Justinian, major emperors who were right from our neck of the woods. The exact spots that they showed on the map in this movie, those areas are where many of those Roman emperors were from in that middle period.